Well, hello everyone, it's Kevin here. Welcome to Mobile DJ Remastered. Today I want to talk to you guys about setting a beat grid on a difficult song. Okay, I've picked up a couple tricks over the years playing around with my DJ software, which is Rekordbox from Pioneer DJ. And I think you could probably use these tips and tricks on any DJ software. So don't worry if you're using Serato or some other software. But why we need our beat grid to match the song properly is so important because it will help us mix, obviously bringing in another song or mixing out of a song into another track. Also, setting the beat grid is important because it can control the way that certain effects will be applied to your track. So you definitely want the beat grid to align properly, especially on newer tracks or tracks that you would like to mix or create like a dance set or whatever. So I'm going to show you guys, I ran into like I said, an issue with a recent track that I was working with. And here I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my Rekordbox and the two tracks. I was bringing in a bunch of tracks into my library and just indexing them, etc. And the two tracks that I wanted to talk about today were Heat Waves and Oh Boy. All right, so Heat Waves came in pretty I'd say standard, but I want to show you guys something. So first, in the settings here in Rekordbox, this little gear icon, right up front under analysis, you can choose whether you want a normal mode or dynamic mode. And normal mode would be, hey, as the DJ software, it's going to try to find whatever BPM the song is, and it's going to apply that beat grid on top of the song with that standard uniform beat grid. So it's very consistent. Most songs produced, let's say 2000 and forward, okay, are going to have that consistency. They're going to be either made on a drum machine or they're going to be produced in such a way that even if it was played live with a drummer, it's going to be well produced and you're going to have a somewhat normal BPM throughout the song. But there are live songs or songs that were recorded by humans, okay, humans playing instruments, which would definitely have small variations, even if you tried really hard in BPM. So you would want to use dynamic mode to match those songs a little more appropriately. Or songs like Come On Eileen, where you've got a certain BPM at the front end, and then toward the back end, it gets really, really fast. So that would be a good dynamic, a reason to use dynamic. But I'm going to use normal here because, again, I'm working with two songs that would be, they're fairly new, very new, and they would definitely have ideally a consistent uniform BPM. So I have Heat Waves here, and I'm going to go ahead and analyze it again. So you can see I'm not adjusting or doing anything, and I'll just go ahead and say analyze. So the software does its thing, and I get my wave pattern, which I know it's done. So I'm going to show you guys, I'm just going to load it in. I'm in export mode, as you can see. And here's what happened. Okay, so I'm looking at this song, and I've been playing with the song for a few minutes, so I kind of know what's going on here. What's happened is it rightfully detected the beat and the BPM. So this is the first note. This little tail here is just like a little tiny intro sound, so you can kind of hear. I'll turn it on and play it for a second. It's like a little tom-tom or a little drum, but okay, so that's cool. That's definitely on beat. You can see the lines that are matching up with the bass and the toms, snare, etc. So we're on beat right now, and it's showing us 80.82. Great, that's a good BPM that it found, and it believes the song is. But you'll notice that the marker for the beginning of the bar is here. And that's not true. The marker for the beginning of the first bar is actually here. So this is an easy fix if this happens, and you'll kind of see like if I play this again, you'll see I'll kind of point to the camera when when you should have the mark of a bar. So it would be. So you can kind of see, I mean, it's fine. It's on beat and the grid's right, but it's just not on the first bar. It's not marked on the first bar. So I can easily change that. And what I like to do is I kind of zoom in here so I make sure that I'm real close to the sound. Okay, that's good enough. That's pretty close. Oops. And then what I'm gonna do, okay, is down here, I can switch from cue and loop mode, edit mode, to grid edit mode, okay? And this is the tool set, and again, a lot of DJ software does this exact thing, but what I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna reset that very first bar marker by clicking this right here. Set the first beat of a bar to the current position. So I could do this anywhere in the song and it would shift everything over, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it here. Okay, and there we go. And you'll see there's an undo button, by the way. If you mess up, you can undo, redo right here. Just a little pro tip. I've made a lot of mistakes and had to use that a lot. Okay, so go back to cue mode, and now I'll zoom back out a little bit from the waveform, and we should see this now being properly gridded. Okay, watch. Okay, that's perfect, right? Now, also, that would be fine. Maybe it's perfect right here at the intro, but obviously we want to make sure that it's good throughout the song, especially in some points where you might want to mix in or mix out something. So I can visualize here. This is probably where the vocals start. So let's just listen. And it's popping right on the bar. It's looking really good. It's looking perfect, okay? And then let's just go to the end and check it out and see. It looks good to me, but you gotta always look with your ears, so to speak, right? That's perfect. Okay, so now I'm, one of the things that I do always when I get new music is I listen to it all the way through, and I look for little pockets or little spots I might want to mark with hot cues or whatnot, and I cue them up. And if you guys are just curious about that, I have another video on how I cue up my songs. I'm not going to spend time to do that here because I want to show you guys "Oh Boy" by Fool Boy Marley, which this song gave me some fits for a minute, and I want to show you guys. This is the song, the track that I want to show you guys most. So I'm gonna load this up, and I'm gonna go ahead and analyze it so you guys know. Again, it's in normal mode, okay, normal analysis mode. So it's gonna try to find the BPM and fix it, and then it's gonna assign it throughout the song. Okay, now what I have here is the first beat starting here for the bar, and that doesn't even look right. It doesn't even look like there's anything going on right there. But that's okay. Sometimes the intros to tracks are a little bit wonky. And then so I'm going to zip forward to where probably the vocals are starting or where the hook's starting. And I'm looking at this beat grid. I'm like, this is ugly. This is ugly. This doesn't have any kind of, okay. Oh, here we go. Here we're on beat. And look, we're on beat. We're on beat. It looks pretty good, right? And I'm just for it. And then look, we're off beat again. And let's just listen to what this sounds like, by the way, because I'm thinking that this isn't even going to be on the right phrase. So let's just listen. Okay, that's horrible, right? Like off completely. So when I first, I'm like, oh no, here we go. This is one of those tracks that's going to give me some fun. So what I'll do, I'll zoom in a little bit. And by the way, I tried to dynamically analyze this, and it didn't do anything. In fact, I think it was actually worse for some reason. And just whenever you, one trick about this is if you go dynamic and then you try to start to edit, what happens is if you're moving beat grids around in certain parts of the song, it's going to move the beat grid elsewhere. And because it was dynamically assigned to the underlying music, it's gonna get all wonky. So I'd say if you're gonna have to do some adjustments, you definitely can do it in dynamic mode, but just be careful. Like only look at one section at a time, adjust around it. And you can use this cool tool right here where you can set a point, and from here forward, it'll be adjusted, but backward it won't. So you can kind of do that kind of fun stuff if you're really advanced. But if you have something like this oboe track, go into normal mode and get it all normal. Okay, so I've got a beat grid that's normally applied at 92.57 BPM, okay? So here's my trick, or whatever, if you want to call it a trick, I don't know, my process. So first I'm like, I gotta get the beat kind of in my head, okay? So I know from playing with this that this is gonna be the first, not the little white, but the little orange, this mid-range, which has some bass under it too. This is gonna be the first beat of the bar. So check this out. Okay, you kind of, when you're looking at the beat, you can kind of hear it, but you can see it, right? You can visualize it because the software does a good job at showing you the waveforms, right? So I know that this is going to be the first beat, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and set that as close as I can get it, and I just do that by doing this. Okay, so now I've got my red line here, okay? My first beat of the bar, right, is set here. Now, where's the second beat of the bar? I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit. So the software at this detected BPM thinks it's here, but it's not there. So let's see where it really is. Okay. Okay. So can you hear it? I know it's kind of low. I was trying not to do any copyright issues, but let's try it again and see if you see it. See if you hear it. Yeah, it's right here. It's right here, okay? So there's this little mid-range, orange is mid-range here in this tricolor code, and there's also some bass behind it, but it's right here. This is the second. So what essentially I need to do is I need to leave this red line here, okay, on the left, and this red line on the right, I need to increase the beat grid until I get to here to distribute it properly. So the way you either grow or shrink the beat grid are these controls right here. And in this case, I need to expand the beat intervals. Okay, so I need to click this button. And if you click this, depending on how zoomed in you are, it's gonna make micro adjustments or bigger adjustments. So right now, I'll go ahead and just try it, okay? So you'll notice that as I do this, and I can hold it down, I'm holding it down on my trackpad. As I hold it down, it kind of just expands. And you can also see, you probably saw that this red line over here on the right side did not move, or the left side did not move at all. That's what I want, right? Because I set my anchor or my first beat in the bar, and then I just move the whole beat grid to align with what I want. So let's just watch this for a second and see how this is going. I like it so far. I like it. Okay. Okay. I like it. Okay, I like it, but it's not perfect because right here is where the vocals came in, okay? And so I'm off just like a micro, a little bit, right? So I'm kind of like, okay, I need to obviously adjust that. Now, in order to bring it back, I need to make the BPM a little faster, a tiny bit faster. So I'm looking at this right here and I'm like, well, let's see, this is how I shrink the beat intervals and make the BPM a little faster. So I'm gonna do that because I know this is gonna line up. I know this needs to line up, okay? So like, notice how I'm clicking. I'm not like holding down. I don't wanna move too fast and go past. Okay, that's pretty good. So if I scroll back and I look, I still have my anchor point, of course. That looks good, that lines up, right? That looks good. I know it looks like, hey, why is there there's just some little high-pitched noise that happens there on this intro, but this is exactly where that third beat in the bar needs to be. That's where the bar starts again. That's where the bar starts again, and that's pretty good, okay? So now I'm like, okay, cool, this was looking good, but again, every little change, every micro change propagates through the whole song. So let's just fast forward, and I'm just gonna bounce to like a quarter of the song. So this is probably like right into the first chorus or so. And oh my gosh, look, we're all off. Look at this, okay? Now, this probably is short, okay? And this is probably short. So let's just listen. Yeah, you could hear that bass hit, and it's hitting right after the red line. So, okay, I've got a problem here where it's a little short. So guess what I'll do? I'll come right here, and I know this is a bass hit, and this is the beginning of a bar. So I'll just go ahead, and now I have to expand just a little bit, okay? And again, I'm just tapping. Now, what's going on at the beginning of the song, of the track? The beat grid's not moving at all with these micro adjustments. And you might say, well, why is that? Well, it's moving. It's just moving in such a tiny, tiny bit because at the front end, at the left side, everything leverages up. Like you move it a little bit on the left side of the track at the beginning of the track. Toward the end of the track, things jump forward like a whole beat, okay? So it's almost like you wanna work on the front, work on the middle, or the front end, how we're doing it now, work on the middle, work on the end, okay? You wanna kind of iterate through. And that's kind of like how you do it. So I'm feeling good here, and just to prove the point, I'll bounce back to the very beginning, and you'll notice that we've still got the beat there, we've still got the beat, it's good here, we've still got the first, there's the last bar before the vocals come in, here's where the vocals come in, and it's looking pretty good, okay? It looks pretty aligned. All right, so then we're coming back out. I'm gonna go ahead and go to like the 3/4 mark of the song, of the track, and here we go again. All right, so as you can see, we're off again, and you could continue. You could do exactly what we did, and then also just to prove that other point, you might notice as we get further down the line, the red bar is a little further from the start of the bar. Okay, that's because it's just, again, it's pulling away the further along we go. So what I'm thinking, my trick to show you guys, and this is an iterative process, you could do exactly what we're doing, but I think a good trick is to, if you get to a point where you're pretty confident, like back toward the end, you're pretty confident that this song has that consistent beat, okay, and a consistent BPM, it's just not gridding properly by the software. Let's look at this right here, and let's make sure that this sounds, that this is consistent here. Okay, so right here in this part of the song, you can almost see right where that bass hits, you can see that's where we're supposed to be. So here's what I'm gonna do. Instead of these micro adjustments and things, I'm actually, with the buttons, I'm gonna go ahead and change the number. And this has kind of been my, method, okay? So I kind of set it up front, maybe I do another check, and then I make sure that I'm in a good spot, and I just change this number. So I know that I need to make the song a little slower so that my red line gets a little closer to the actual drop here, the actual beat drop. So let's make it 81.4. And hey, look at that. I got a little closer, okay? And remember, whenever you adjust, it's gonna keep that anchor point at the left side of it. So I know I'm good at the front end. And these are just micro adjustments to make sure I get the rest of the song gridded. So 4 did pretty good. Let's see what 81.03 does. Okay. How about 81.02? That looks pretty good, guys. Okay, let me check a little further down. Yeah, just visually, that looks pretty good. Let me check in the middle of the song, of the track. That looks pretty good. Obviously I'm checking visually, and it's looking pretty good. I'll check back at the beginning. So we're at the front end again. Okay, there's our familiar little start. Let's see, here's where the vocals kick in. And yeah, look, we're slightly off, just a tad. But that looks good. That looks good. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna call this. And do you see how we're pulling away toward at the very end? Just a little bit, you can see. But boy, this is pretty close to good. Because I feel like if we went, let's just try it, 81.1, I think we're gonna overshoot. Yeah, that still doesn't look that bad, 81.1. Let's just, yeah, see, I'm starting to I'm not liking what I'm seeing back here at the front end of the song. Do you see this? This is a little, it's starting to slip past at the beginning. So I'm gonna go back to 81.02 and I'm gonna call that a day because I think that is sufficient for my beat matching needs and for all my effects, etc. So guys, I just wanted to share that. I know it can be a pain to play around with the beat grid, but certainly if you use these tools and play around, there's lots of different tricks, and as I run into them or as I maybe discover new tricks even, I'll definitely share them on my channel. And if you have any tricks, let me know in the comments, or if you want to share a video, I think that'd be great for everybody because we're all in this together and we need to share any insights that we get, okay? Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.